So the truck's kind of a mismatch. It's got a 16-gallon tank on the right and a 20 on the left. He's bought a new 16-gallon tank to go on the driver's side, and we'll keep the one on the passenger side. We've got the bed off, fix and pull the tanks. We use the 3-post air conditioned lift to pull the bed off. So we're gonna get these gas tanks pulled off, get the drive shaft out, and then we're gonna start marking the frame out. We took the gas tanks out, the drive shaft out, cut the mufflers off, got enough slack in the taillight wires. Make sure you don't cut them. My 83 Model IZ cut the frame. This one, we're not going to do it. We're just going to cut it straight. Car haulers, semis, everything's cut that way. We're going to straight cut it, fish plate it. So one thing we like getting ready to cut the frame is we usually crimp the brake line off, hammer it down flat, try to keep all the fluid from running out of the mountain shelter. And we'll end up cutting it, flaring it, putting the union back in right here. So we're going to get the cutting the chunk out and we get it all lined back up. Come back and show you when it's ready to weld. So we got the frame cut. Be sure and watch out for your taillight wires. Saw the mufflers off. We're going to shorten the tailpipes and the front pipe down on it. And we're fixing to take a flat wheel, clean it up, and do a little beveling and get it ready to pull back together. We test fitted a minute ago and it lined up pretty good, so come back when we start getting it welded up. Another thing I didn't mention, always cross measure for square before you cut it, and after you cut it, before you tack weld it, you know, pull some cross measurements, find the same point. That'll keep you running square. Welcome back. So we got it pulled together, got it spot welded, everything lined up pretty good. We cross measured from this bad bolt hole to the rear, the second rear bolt hole. We're within a 16th of being square, so we went with it. That's probably as square as the truck was in the factory. So we're going to finish welding this up. I know a lot of people don't like the straight cut, but I mean, you can buy a brother's truck kit and you cut it straight and bolt it together. This is, like I said, this is my son-in-law's truck. Pretty much we're going to have to cut down to what, roughly $200 from a long bed to a short bed, and the biggest cost of that was the fuel tank. Now, if you got a truck, a lot of people say these didn't come with dual 16-gallon tanks, but I've got an 83 model that I know is factory with dual 16s. I've seen it on a few. If you got 16-gallon tanks, you don't even have to buy a gas tank. So I got lucky, had a friend that had a 55.5-inch drive shaft, which is what the short bed square bodies with a $700 Ford had in the factory. So we are going to finish welding this up and put some fish plates on the inside, and we'll come back and we'll get it all welded up. Well, it's Monday evening. We was hoping to have this done Sunday, was the plan, to do it in the weekend. We could have probably had it done if it wasn't for the heat. It got so hot Saturday and Sunday both. We didn't work all through the day. We didn't film much yesterday. We just turned in trying to get it finished. Got the frame welded together. It's fish plated inside. And the fish plates come through the gas tank holes. We had to drill through the back side of those. I always leave this bead. I've only done 2 of these, but I leave the bead on the top and on the bottom of the frame, just to keep a little more material. As far as looking at the outside, you'd never know it's been cut unless you just look for the fish plates inside. Kind of still see a little bit of that plug weld. Any bolts that's left behind the fish plate, I plug weld them also back into the fish plate. The brake line is back together. My son-in-law, he just got a compression coupling for that. On my 83 model, I used it had a union in that area. Or it may have been back here by the shock. But anyway, I cut it, just reflared it, put it back in the factory union. We would have about been done yesterday, but apparently your run-of-the-mill parts stores that's open on the weekends have no idea what a conversion U-joint is. So we needed one from a 1330 to 1310. And I mean, if you ain't got the 8th digit of the VIN and the color of the vehicle, they can't look it up on their little computer. So went to a local parts store and picked one up today. So we're fixing to get at it, try to get it running. My Lincoln welder, it bit the dust. My wife bought me a titanium 170, and I'll have to say, for a $400 welder, it's well worth the money. I did not even hook it up to 240 to weld this, and I mean, it was full penetration. It would have burnt through if I'd have just tried. For the money, if you're looking something just hobby around your house, I would really recommend one. My son-in-law has the 140. It is nowhere near, for some reason, the welder the 170 is. I also turned in yesterday, I found him some 3-inch shackles from a friend of mine, the same one had the drive shaft. They are for 88 to 98 OBS style truck, but everything's pretty well the same. My biggest concern was clearing the bed floor. We done some measuring, and I think there's going to be about 5/8 clearance between it. So he's eventually going to get some lowering springs or drop spindles for the front of it. But actually, with a 3-inch in the back, it almost leveled it out. But he's not off work yet, so I'm gonna turn in, get these U-joints put in, get the drive shaft in it, and start putting the tanks in. We'll be ready to fire it up, back it out, and set the bed back on there. We got the drive shaft back in, both gas tanks mounted up. That filler hose somebody's done hiked down to fit. I'm pretty sure this truck came factory with Yield 16. I have this piece in there when it was a long bed. So we're kind of going to cut this one down to fit like that. My 83 model had a rubber hose here with just a metal sleeve from the factory. So this 90 actually fit right on the tank and lined up with it. Finally got the right U-joint. We've cut the emergency brake cable. We're just going to try to shorten it. If it don't work out, he can pick up a short bed emergency brake cable later and hook it back up. Other than that, we're fixing to get this cut down and get the bed set back on it. And other than a little bit of welding in the bed floor, it'll be done. Fella. All right, so we got the bed set back on, got it bolted down, everything lined up really good. Had a little bit of heat in that back weld, putting a little bit of filler on it. It's unreal what a difference, going from a long to a short. I'm gonna try to throw some pictures of it in there from before. Got the bed on. Getting this filler neck to line up was pretty much the biggest issue. You can really tell the 3-inch drop shackles drop the back end down quite a bit. I think he's fixing to go with some 2 or 3-inch springs in the front. Get those god-awful all-terrain tires. I'm a Tennessee fan, but them orange wheels have got to go too. If he don't paint them, I will. But all in all, it's looking really good. Just like grinding some welds on the front of the bed. He's gonna finish that up. We got the back all ground down. Get some bed liner back on it. You'll never know the bed floor was cut. So we're gonna get back at it. Try to at least get one side body worked out. And get some rattle can paint on it. The guy that owned it before sent some photos of what it was like. It was actually a really nice truck, and why he done it this way, we have no idea, but it's gonna make it easy to touch up the paint on it anyway. Doing a little body work, some rattle can primer. Turned out really good. So we're pretty well done with it, other than a little bit of body work left, a little bit of sanding. It's just gonna get rattle can to match the paint job. But all in all, I mean, it turned out really, really good. We was hoping to do it in the weekend, but it ended up taking us, what, 3 or 4 days, 3. We could have probably done it in 3 days. The heat was a killer. We didn't get to work on it as much as we wanted to. We're gonna do a little bit of body work on it tomorrow evening. Get the paint kind of to match up, and until he gets some drop springs for the front, we'll be done with it. done. Took a little bit longer than we thought. We thought we'd get it in a weekend. Ended up taking us a few days longer. Actually, about 3 days total if we could work the whole time. But between the heat, the U-joint situation, it's just, we couldn't work all day Saturday and Sunday. The heat was so bad. But I think it's sexier than socks on a Baney rooster. Like, looks good when it gets the front end dropped down. We may do a video on putting the drop spindle springs. We might even cut the springs, save a couple $100 if he wants to. We could try. If it don't ride good, he can buy a set of springs to go in it. As far as all the beds, it all turned out really good, like really good. Everything lined back up great on it. He's gonna try to get a bumper to go on the back of it. Took the step bumper off. Gonna try to get a sport bumper to go on it. But the difference in the looks is just unreal. 20 inches makes a big difference. 6 inches makes a big difference. Don't let nobody tell you different. Just cutting the back looks good. That's going to be about it for this video. We didn't really film a whole lot that we should have, but we're just filming it with a phone for now. We don't have a stand, and we turned in just working on it, trying to get it finished up Saturday and Sunday. So like I said before, it's not really a how-to. It's just pretty much an idiot with a welder and a sawzall and a grinder, that just to let you know, if you have the determination, you could do it yourself in a garage in a good level spot, or a driveway in a good level spot. We're gonna put this on YouTube and kind of throw it out there and see how it does. So like and subscribe. There'll be more coming later. Hopefully next year, the 67 GMC. We'll call it a barn find, since it's sitting in the barn. So the barn find 67, that's going to be my daily driver if I can ever get it built. I've got to finish the 83 first, and then I'm going to start on it. It's a long bed also. It's going to get cut down. It's a leaf spring truck, so I don't have to take the cab off of it to cut it. And kind of hang around. Got a lot more to do. I want to film the rest of probably the build of my 83. Put it on there. And so like and subscribe, and leave any comments on the way you've done them. Any questions you can ask. I'll try to get back to them. May not be right, but I'll answer it.